Many of you may have heard the term ALARP. ALARP is nothing but as low as reasonably practical. In this particular lecture, we'll be discussing about how the ALARP is decided and what are the basic principles behind this and how you can decide what would be your ALARP. So let's dive into it. So through this slide, I am trying to explain you what ALARP is. So as you can see here, the risk is shown in the y-axis, right? And this risk has been categorized into three regions. One is intolerable region, another is tolerable region, and thirdly, broadly acceptable region. So intolerable region is the region where nobody wants to be. The risk is very high, so you definitely need to do some preventive or mitigative action so to reduce the risk. And the intolerable risk is for the employee of the organization, it is 1e minus 3 per year, and for the society it is 1e minus 4 per year. So 1e minus 3 is 1 in 1000 times, and for the IE minus 4 is 1 is 10,000 times. So the risk is that if there is similar incident that is happening 1000 times, then there is a chance then in one incident there will be people will be exposed to that risk, right? So this is basically a probability that the employee or the society will be impacted. So obviously we cannot remain in this intolerable region. We have to reduce the risk from here to this region, which is our tolerable region. The tolerable region is anything below this 1e minus 4 or 1e minus 3, right? And then there is another region which is broadly acceptable region, which is known as one broadly acceptable region where the risk is very less. So normally this broadly acceptable region is 1 in 10 lakhs or 1 in million. So chances are very less here. So if you see here where the intolerable region, the chances are 1 in 1000. But in the broadly acceptable region, it is 1 in million. So risk is very less in this region, risk is very high in this region. So you have to come down from this region to close to this region. Okay. Now the problem is as you come down more and more or reduce more and more risk, the risk reduction is happens through some protection layer, right? And every protection layer has some cost associated with it. So the more you reduce your risk, the more there is a cost involved, right? So that's why this term ALARP came, is we will reduce the risk as long as it is reasonably practical. Okay, which means your cost and risk reduction should be proportionate. If the risk reduction and cost is very highly disproportionate, then we will not go further, right? So obviously this is little bit subjective, how much is proportionate, how much is not proportionate. So that depends on the organization to organization and also depends on the local or the country rules and regulations. Okay, but one thing is for sure, that you need to come down from the intolerable region and you have to be in this tolerable region. Now in the tolerable region where you are, that will depend on your organization, on your country, on your locality. So for example, uh, here is a chart where you can see that what are the different names by which the ALARP is known. In the case of the Australia, it is ALARP. In the Netherlands, it is ALARA. Norway, it is known as ALARP. United Kingdom also ALARP. And United States, it is both known as ALARP and ALARA. And in case of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, it is known as the probabilistic risk assessment. If you see in the case of the Australia, it is mandated. European Union, it is not mandated, but in the case of UK, it is mandated, and it is not mandated in USA. Now the question comes, how you will reduce risk? You will reduce risk through different protection layer, right? So what are this protection layer and how you will reduce risk? All these things we will be discussing in our next lecture. Thank you.